A Ukrainian official says the country's third largest city was, quote, on fire after Thursday's massive Russian drone strike on Odessa. Videos appear to show civilian infrastructure engulfed in flames with plumes of smoke billowing above the city. Officials say 3 people were injured. But Ukraine fought back, hitting an airbase deep inside Russia. The base has reportedly been used to launch attacks on Ukraine. And in Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump says he'll sign a deal on critical minerals with Kyiv, quote, very shortly. Talks on a partial ceasefire in Ukraine are set to resume in Saudi Arabia on Monday. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is urging Europe to pour more money into its defense. He spoke as European Union leaders met in Brussels on Thursday to talk about how to boost defense spending in the face of Moscow's military ambitions. Sebastian Shukla has more.
President Zelensky spent today on a tour de force of Europe again as he looks to shore up more weapons for his country. He began the day talking to the European Council leaders in Brussels via video link, where he urged them to pass a €5 billion spending package in order to acquire more artillery shells, which would then be sent to Ukraine as his forces continue to battle Russian forces in the east. But as part of that conversation with European leaders, President Zelensky also elaborated a little on the phone call he held with US President Donald Trump.
Yesterday, I had a productive conversation with President Trump. From the very, very beginning, Ukraine has been advocating what we are discussing now, an end to attack on energy and infrastructure and ceasefire at sea, and we continue to support these efforts. Putin must stop making unnecessary demands that only prolong the war and must start fulfilling what he promises the world.
Those unnecessary demands referred to by President Zelensky seem to be a direct reference to comments and that phone call with Donald Trump that Vladimir Putin had this week, where he said a 30-day ceasefire he would be willing to agree to as long as a series of demands were met by Ukraine, some of them which it seems very difficult for Kyiv to agree to at all, which include the halting of military support for Kyiv, as well as the halting of intelligence sharing between Western partners and Ukraine as well. President Zelensky did also say in Oslo that Ukrainian negotiators would be in the Saudi Arabian capital this weekend for talks, which we know are due to be held between the US and Russia. What Zelensky said, though, is that the negotiators will not be in the room or part of the discussions with Russia and Ukraine, but a form of shuttle diplomacy will take place, where the US will act as the middleman, conveying messages from Russia to Ukraine and vice versa. The talks taking place in Saudi Arabia, the US said, are going to be at a working level, so not involving presidential or even foreign ministry level. But they do show that the United States has not yet given up on trying to push Russia and Ukraine to come to a ceasefire agreement. Sebastian Shukla, CNN, Berlin.